After 15 years of working with third to fourth generation ethnic wealthy migrants, these are the 5 things they secretly teach their kids that they gatekeep from poor folks like you. Secret number 1 they teach the kids is that they get them to work young, and not because they want to exploit child labor because they're from some Malacca country and they brought that to Australia. No, it's because they want to teach them this thing, and that is this. If you can't read it, it's actually Chinese. It means in Cantonese 人性, or in Mandarin 人性. To translate into simple English is to basically understand the exploitive, flawed nature of the human existence. To give you an example, I know a Chinese family that in many years ago owned all the Kodak stores in South Sydney. So what they do is they get their kids, which is basically, maybe about 7 to 8, to serve behind the counter. And obviously this child is standing on some sort of boxes, not high enough, to serve behind the counter and deal with simple transactions with their daily customers. And what the father wants to do by placing their child behind the desk and counter to serve these clients is not basically to save on money of not hiring staff, but they want their child to see 人性, which is basically to see the day-to-day nature of how the customers are when they deal with a transaction or money. For example, this child would see that some customers are greedy, some customers are stingy, and how some customers will return goods after buying from the Kodak store, and shows the human element of deceit by lying. And lastly, how some customers can be manipulated by salespeople on the floor, which the father wants the child to see, how manipulation of emotion can cause another human to buy more products, which then shows them about 人性. Running parallel to this existence of this child learning this by this wealthy third and fourth generation ethnic individual father is they have the poor folks over here. Running parallel to this event is a child at the same age sitting in a room by the tiger mother to study, basically alone studying and rote learning all this material. But in truth, this person will never learn about 人性. The second secret that wealthy families will teach their kids that poor families won't teach their kids is that wealthy families encourage their kids to spend money, while the poor folk family, who basically tells their kid, study hard, get good grades so they can go to uni and get a job, will tell the kids, hey, don't spend all your money, save that money in that little money jar of yours. To give you an example, there was an experiment done where there were 2 kids. They were both given $10 each. One was from a wealthy family and one was from a poor folk family, like that kid that is in that study room. And both these kids were given instructions to go to, for example, a shopping center like Westfield and to any toy store and spend that $10. Now, the poor kid from the poor kid family basically came back to the person that was running the experiment and go, hey, I've only spent $8. I've got $2 left. And they asked him why, because they're saying, hey, I just didn't want to waste all that money. I just want to spend within the $10. Whilst the second kid went into a toy store and saw a toy that was 10x the amount, maybe $100, and because he couldn't buy it and the person wouldn't sell it to him, he started to whine, chuck a fit, and chuck a big ass tantrum. And then at that moment, a gentleman walked past and saw this kid crying and was so annoyed of him crying. He just said, hey mate, if you just could shut the F up, I'll buy the toy for you. And he did buy this kid the toy. Now, after hearing from this experiment, you might think, hey, this kid from the wealthy family who knows about 人性 and all this stuff is a bloody spoiled brat. While this poor child from this poor family is taught to be respectful, humble, and operate within the confines of the rules. But guys, I want you to think, out of this event, these 2 children, who gained the most? Who learned that it was a means to the end? To obtain what you want, you need to fight for what you want. Because with proper guidance from the wealthy ethnic father, from learning 人性 from working at a young age, and also having the tenacity to cry at the store and not giving what everyone thinks to get what you want, would be the winner in life in terms of business, relationship, and anything that this person wants. While this person, stuck in the confines of study to get good grades so mum can give you a pat on the back and give you a nice hot porridge to eat, wouldn't squeak a pig just to get what they want and operate within the confines of $10. Basically, you'll end up the loser in life. That leads to the third secret the rich teach their kids that the poor won't. And that is the poor family will always ask their kids to gain permission before they do anything, whilst the rich tell their kids, don't give a F middle finger to the rule because you don't give a crap what anyone says about you. The rich family knows that education comes from 50% of the school and 50% from street study, which means the kid over here has to be book smart and also street smart, 50-50. Whilst the poor family, 100% is focused on book smart, which basically gets them stuck in the schooling system. And in the schooling system, it's about student and teacher. Whatever the student wants, you need permission from the teacher, which is basically permission-based. And that leads to the fourth rule. Rich people teach their kids that rules are actually meant to be broken, while the poor folks will teach the kids to stick to the rules and don't get in trouble because you're a bad boy. And at the end of the day, it's the poor folk family child who basically is set in this schooling system of permission-based learning will be the one sticking to the rules set out by the child who has learned all these secrets, who creates the rules, which this mofo will fall under. And yes, I do agree this child over here will probably have an IQ of 300 plus because he's been studying all his life on a rule-based, permission-based schooling system. While this person who's 50% street smart and 50% school smart might have an average IQ, average academics, but this person knows 人性. They end up to be the entrepreneurs, the business owners, the leaders that basically will run the business which your very studious child will be working under rules set up by them. And their business taught by their father in terms of how to run a business will be maybe earning maybe $1 million a year. And this person will be paying your child maybe 10% of that, which is $100K a year. Which leads to secret number 5, money. These guys who are taught by their ethnic father, third or fourth generation, ethnic wealthy families, to fall in love with money. Whilst your poor child, you taught them that money is no good. Money, the only thing out of money is evil. No, don't touch money, touch books. When these kids grow up, which they do, they're speaking to a mortgage broker like myself to get more money, to invest in more things, to grow more wealth. Whilst these poor folks who probably have 100K, their parents go, why are you getting a mortgage? Why are you getting into debt? Why are you getting this and that? Because you shouldn't do that. It's risky. Don't get into debt. Just sit there and work your 100K and then retire. And if you stayed thus far to this very long video, congrats. I believe you're a parent who want to pass on to your future generation these 5 secrets. Jump in the comments and let me know what you think.